What is going on, guys? My name is SiahZ and welcome back to a brand new build guide video. Today we're going to be covering my Demon Form Infernalist Witch build. This build is absolutely insane, being able to do 34 million damage when we're taking on pinnacle bosses, being able to kill them within seconds. Honestly, has one of the best and most satisfying clears out of any build I've played so far. It's so satisfying to watch the whole screen shatter and see multiple comments being raining down from the sky. And overall, I think you guys are going to really like the build. As always, if you guys do enjoy the video and you are liking the content that I'm making on my channel, you consider hitting the like on the video and subscribing to the channel. It really does help me out immensely, and it really also helps with the YouTube algorithm, and currently that is the best way to support me. Without further ado, let's get straight into the build video. Before we get into anything, real quick, I want to talk about actually how we sustain Demon Form and we're able to actually keep up to high Infernal Flame stacks. The way we do this basically is by stacking a lot of life regeneration. The more life regeneration we have, the higher amount we can stay in and longer we can stay in the Demon Form, which will allow us to achieve those higher Infernal Flame stacks. So with that being said, we can actually get into the gear. For our helmet, we're running Mask of the Snitched Demon. This will basically allow us to regenerate life per second per maximum energy shield that we have. This adds a whole lot of life regen overall to the build, and that's why we run it in this case. Now we are going to need one corrupted with spirit, so this way we can run cast on crit, allowing us to throw common and stuff like that in there to achieve that 34 million damage that we're doing on bossing to destroy pinnacle bosses. It also really does help out with clearing and tanking rares as well. This will also provide us with chaos resistance and stuff like that, which is nice, but basically this will make it to where our energy shield has zero effect. Now we are going to pair our helmet with Ghost Wraith Tattered Robe for our body armor. This is basically going to allow us to get our maximum life converted to energy shield. This way we can have a lower base maximum life, which means our actual demon form will take less of our life per second because we have a overall less life pool for it to actually go off of, since it goes percent based and not flat like X amount based. So going with Ghost Wraith will allow us, like I said, to actually have less damage taken per second off demon form, which will allow us to be in there longer to get higher Infernal Flame stacks. Plus Ghost Wraith will give us cast resistant as well, and some energy shield to actually help with Snitch Demon to get a lot more life regen. Then since this is converting max life into energy shield as well, it pairs into it really nicely again. So that's why we combined both of those to achieve a lot of life regen per second. For our gloves, we're going to be running Maligros or Sudi Fine Bracers. This is going to allow us to get a lot of good crit chance overall. Helps also to give dex to the build so we can run all of our dex jewels that we need without really putting too many points on the tree in a dex, allowing us to get overall a higher int base. Plus, it allows us to fix our crit damage at 300%. So since we're running crit chance on the build and we're putting it and trying to get high crit chance for our Frostbolt, high crit chance for Comet on cast on crit and stuff like that to achieve high overall DPS and really good clear, we want to have a good high crit damage basis. Now, going in and trying to sacrifice jewels that have life regen on them and trying to put in sapphire jewels with crit damage or crit chance, overall will just make the build do a lot less damage because we'll have a lot less Infernal Flame stacks. And this way we can get a lot of damage without having to sacrifice our life regen on jewels and other pieces and nodes on the tree. So overall, these are really good gloves, and that's why we run them in this case. For our boots, we're just running Energy Shield base Expert Feather Tiara. That's all we're looking for. That, movement speed, keeping res cap, and on all your gear that you can get that's not unique, you want to look for, obviously making sure you're res capped, but you want to look for max mana and you want to look for life regeneration per second. Do not get maximum life on your gear because we want to have a lower overall max life basis. So this way, like I said, Demon Form will tick less of our max life per second. For our accessories, we're going to be running just a solar amulet, going for at least like 48 to 50 on the base so we can get to 60 spirit overall. Pair that with 30 spirit on our helmet, and that'll allow us to achieve that 90 spirit we need for cast on crit. Again, looking for like maximum energy shield, increased maximum energy shield, mana, reses, and life regen. All that is what we need. For the anoint on here, we're going to be running Resilient Soul, because what Resilient Soul will do is give us a more increased life regeneration rate, plus damage taken recouped as life, which is really nice as well. For our rings, we're running the Snake Pit Pearl Ring. This will basically allow our Frostbolt to fork, which is absolutely amazing and allows us to have an insane clear when doing high tier breach maps and content at T16s, etc. So that's why we run this here. For the other ring, we're just running a breach ring again, looking for max mana, reses, and just life regen. and that's pretty much it. And then we're going to be running life catalyst modifiers on all of our jewelry, and then we're running ingenuity bout to pump up our rings as much as possible. Now you can run a rare bout in this instance looking for max mana, reses, life regen, stuff like that on it. Overall, I opted to go for ingenuity just because if you can get some real good rings, obviously that'll boost it up a lot. And overall, we kind of need it right now just for reses and other stuff like that to be res cap, so that's why I threw it in here. But a rare bout will work in this instance. Just keep that in mind as well if you have a lower budget. Now for mana flats, we are running a melting maelstrom. Should be able to get this for a divine or two, and overall it makes all the mana issues of the build pretty much go away because we're able to just pop this and instantly go back to full mana, which is really good as well because we're running Eldritch Battery, which are basically life bowl is going to be mana, so that's why we have this. Now we're going to go in and cover our skills. So we are running Demon Form. We're going to be throwing Second Wind in here, and that's pretty much all we're doing to support it. This will basically allow it to get another charge. So if we go into it and we have to come out of it for any reason, instead of waiting, whatever the cooldown is, 15-20 seconds, we can immediately go back into it. So that's why we have this here. Anything else in here really doesn't matter. Then we're actually going to be running the Infernal Hound because some of the damage that we actually take will be dealt to this. So it's another defense layer, and especially since we don't, have a overabundance of like energy shield, evasion, all this other like defensive layers, this is heavily needed and adds an extra layer of defense. We're going to be supporting this with Meat Shield as this will allow it to get more maximum life. Then we're also going to be running Last Gasp, so when it does die or runs out of life, it'll actually sustain and stay there for 4 seconds. So this way it'll prolong the life of our minion. Then we are running Elemental Army, so this way it'll have more elemental resistances to actually up the survivability of that. And then we're running Minion Mastery to get another level into the actual skill. And the last thing you would run in here is probably like Calling Strike or something like that. And the written guide, I'll have all the links and stuff like that set out for level 90 and stuff like that. Then we're going to be running Frostbolt. This is our main clearing skill, get this highest level and quality as possible. We're going to be supporting this with Ambush. This way it'll have more crit chance against enemies that are on full life. Then we're going to be running Magnified Effect to have more AoE of it. And since we're forking, creating all those projectiles and stuff, and we want to have most overlap as possible with AoE, so that's why we run Magnified Effect here. Then we're running Considered Casting. This will have less cast speed, but since we're in demon form, we actually get more cast speed, so it offsets that. And then this gives 40% more damage with spell hits, so it's a no-brainer there, just more damage. Then we're going to be running Scatter Shot to actually create more projectiles. Since we want this to clear as much as possible, we want to have more projectiles, so this way it'll fork more, etc. So that's why we run that there. And then the last thing, we're running Acceleration because Frostbolt moves at a pretty slow speed, and we want to have this going as quick as possible to get ahead of us, sustain and off-screen clear and stuff like that, so that's why we run Acceleration. Then we're running Frostwall. This is our main kind of like overlap, how we burst bosses down quickly and stuff like that, so we want to have this highest level and quality as well. Going from there, we are basically going to be running Rising Tempest on it. It's because we are running Voltaic Mark to get more shock magnitude. This will allow it basically to get another 12% elemental damage, which helps pump up the DPS of everything. You could alternatively take this out and run Fortress if you want. I personally just don't like the way Fortress feels, that's why I don't run it. But if you do want to run Fortress, you can. That's an option there. Then we're running Lightning Exposure to inflict this, so we do more damage with our lightning skill since we are running Archmage, and we do get a lot of overall lightning damage added. Then we're running Overcharge to have more magnitude of shocks inflicted, with Strip Away to have an increased effect of exposure, and then Cooled Exposure as well, so this way we can pen and get more damage since we're using Frostbolt, Comet, stuff like that, which is all ice-based skills. Then we're running Cast on Crit, again, get this highest level with quality, this way we can have Reduced Reservation. And then we're going to be running Comet, again with Comet, highest level. If you can get it corrupted with +1 level, and then quality on it is really huge because quality actually gives us more crit chance. And then obviously more levels is more base flat cold damage. Then we're going to be running Impetus on it to gain increased energy gain, with Inspiration have less cost. Then we're going to be running Spell Echo, so this way it'll actually echo and cast again once we trigger it. And then we're going to be running Elemental Focus to get more elemental damage on Comet to do more damage overall when we're going against those pinnacle bosses. Then we're running Archmage. We're not supporting with anything here. If you have the Spirit, you can throw Clarity in, but we don't. So we're running Archmage because this will give us a percentage of damage as extra lightning damage for each 100 maximum mana we have. So we get a lot of overall lightning damage added to all of our skills, which is nice. Then we are running Hypothermia, again, highest level as possible with quality, so this way we can reduce their cold resistance to do more damage with Comet and Frostbolt. Then we're running Ritualistic Curse to have increased area of effect. Cursed Ground and basically turn it into an AoE on the ground, and it's like a persisting skill. And then Heightened Curse to have increased effect of it, so it will reduce the cold resistance even further. Then we're running Voltaic Mark primarily just so it'll have more magnitude of shock. So this way we can throw it on a boss, have more magnitude, do more damage overall, etc. So that's why we run it here. We just throw persistence on there to have more duration on the mark. Then we're running Eye of Winter to inflict critical weakness because we are a crit build and we want to have 100% crit chance. So Eye of Winter allows us to achieve this. This way we can basically spam comment with our cast on crit because we're always critting. We're gonna have Deceleration on Eye of Winter to apply more stacks with Unleash, so we actually throw 2 of them out instead of 1. And then we're also going to have Arcane Tempo to have more cast speed on it so it doesn't feel clunky. And then that's pretty much it for the skills. Now we can go into the passive tree. So for the Ascendancy, the first 2 points we're going to go into Demonic Possession to get our Demon Form skill. The next points we're going to go into Alter Flesh, so this way our cold and lightning damage will be taken as fire, and then we'll be getting 20% of physical damage taken as cast as well. We're going to come back in and go to Loyal Hellhound so we can actually get that. So this way 20% of damage from hits is taken to our Hellhound's life. This way it's another defensive layer on there. From there, the last 2 points we're just going to put into 4% increased mana and then 12% increased crit chance. The reason why we don't go down in here is because we'll be increasing our life by 3%. Now, alternatively, if you do have a lot more life regen, you can take these, but overall this will increase the life pool, which will increase the ticks per second that Demon Form actually does because our life pool will be higher. So do keep that in mind if you take one of these. From there, we're going to go up into Pure Energy, taking the left side for more energy shield, going into Dampening Shield for, again, more energy shield, Mana Blessing for more max mana and increased mana. We'll be coming over and taking Critical Exploit and all of these crit chance nodes to give us a lot more overall crit chance on our skills. Then we'll be coming down and taking Melding to get increased maximum energy shield. And then we'll be going into Insightfulness as well for max energy shield and increased percent intelligence. So it's really good there. From there, we're going to go up and go to the right, coming in and taking Eldritch Battery to convert all energy shield to mana. We're going to be going down and taking this Rune Socket so we can get basically into True Strike to get that increased crit chance. And we'll be taking the 1 point down here for that increased crit chance as well. From there, we're going to go straight left into the Jewel Socket. And don't worry, I'll explain all of our jewels, what we're looking for at the end after the tree. Then we're going to come down and take Heavy Buffers, so we'll get more increased maximum energy shield. Plus that 10% reduced max life is nice. This way, Demon Form will take less a second. Then we're going to come down and we'll take Collaborations. This way we get more increased maximum energy shield. And that 4% increase in maximum mana is really nice since we are taking Eldritch Battery and our mana is basically our life pool. Then we'll be going in and taking measures over here to get 20% of our maximum energy shield as stun threshold, which is really nice to avoid those stuns. Going down and taking this Jewel Socket. And then we're going to basically come in and take Reverberation. So this way we have increased area of effect on our spells. So this way we have more overlap, especially for clearing. It's really nice. Going in and taking these 2 area damage ones as well. This way it has more area of effect. And then from there, we're going to come up and go into Mind Over Matter. This way all damage from hits is taking from mana before life. So this way, like I said, we will have a lot more survivability since we can't actually have any play in our energy shield since we have Master the Snitch Demon on. From there, we're going to come up and take this Jewel Socket node and then finally go back to the highway and head back up, taking the Jewel Socket, heading left, taking Enhanced Barrier, so we get a lot of increased maximum energy shield, plus that 1% of maximum elemental res is nice. Then we're going to shoot across to the right and go into Controlling Magic, so this way we have a lot of increased crit chance for spells, which is really good points there, so that's why we take that. Then we're going to come in and take Patient Barriers, so this way we have tons of increased maximum energy shield, as well as Ingenuity for that 25 to Intelligence, which is really nice for 1 point, so I might as well throw it in there. After we take Ingenuity, we'll head right into Turn the Clock Forward, so this way we get more projectile speed for our spells, and then nodes leading up to it are Prod Speed and Spell Damage, which is nice. And like I said, we want to have a lot of projectile speed for our Frostbolt to actually travel and, off screen a lot quicker, so this way the projectile isn't slow and sluggish. From there, we're just going to basically keep going down, taking the Jewel Socket. We're going to go into Heavy Frost this way. Once they're frozen, we'll actually ignore their elemental resistances, as well as Thin Ice to get more damage against them once they're frozen, which is huge. Going into Careful Assassin because we get so much increased crit chance, and we don't really care about that reduced crit damage since the gloves are running basically fixes it to 300%. So we're just getting free crit chance there, so there's no reason not to take it. Then we're going to come down to the right and finally take this last ruby slot, and that pretty much covers up the tree. From there, we only are running a few unique jewels, one of them being from the Nothing Diamond. Now, we're basically allocating down here to get to Hail Heart, so you can allocate either Bulwark and or Unwavering Stance. Basically from there, we'll be able to allocate anything in this radius. So we're going to go into Hail Heart. It gives 50% increased life recovery rate. And then all the nodes around it, we're going to grab, which is just more increased life regen, which is absolutely amazing. And there's no reason not to get this. And it adds, you know, a lot of increased life regen. And since we are doing this with the unique jewel, we don't have to use all these passive points to get down to it, which saves it in the long run for a lot more crit chance and other stuff. The only other unique one we are running is a Megalomaniac with Split Shot, which again, what Split Shot does basically is just gives our projectiles a chance for an additional projectile when forking. So without taking all these points and pathing down, we can get it for free. That's why we do that. Anything else on the Megalomaniac that's more beneficial, like full recovery for more life regen, you know, you can even get like Crushing Wave for damage, or you know, anything like that that will give you more damage or more life regen or defensive layers on top of Split Shot on a Megalomaniac will be more beneficial, and that's what we look for there. Beyond that, just the normal ruby jewels, all we're looking for in those is just life regenerate. If you can get them with either, you know, like max fire res, elemental damage, increased area of effect, anything like that on top of increased life regeneration rate is what we're looking for. But like I said, the most important thing is just increased life regen, and that's pretty much the only thing that we're really needing on this jewel. And that pretty much covers it for the tree, the jewels, and the ascendancy, the gear, the skills, all that. Like I said, the build is absolutely fun and amazing to play. One of the best clearing builds that I've played this league. It's super satisfying, especially all the ice explosions, the comets raining down from the sky. It's absolutely amazing and feels a ton of fun to play. And we do an amazing amount of bossing DPS as well. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy the build. If you did enjoy the video, you're liking what I'm doing on my channel, if you consider hitting that like and subscribe button, definitely does help me out, and it really does help with the YouTube algorithm as well. And currently that is the best way to support me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and night, depending when you're watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.